I do vaguely remember this being a thing and wondering, like, can we actually learn anything from these guys? But it didn't seem like it. But anyways, okay. So I think that means that we've basically done all the gear upgrades that we might want to do at the moment. That's also, that was whetstone. Do we have an armored vent here? I thought we did. Is that just the indicator for... Oh yeah, there's one right next to the whetstone, is there not? Here. There we go. Okay. Okay. Let's head on back now, I think. So I'm pretty sure we've basically done all the gear upgrades that we might want to do. And hold on. Oh, I was going to say, for a second there, it looked like we were going to be able to sprint infinitely. Because I was sprinting for a while and I did not see my stamina moving at all. Right now, look at this. Stamina doesn't move at all. Only now does it start to deplete. Has that always been a thing? Has it always been that you can run a little bit before stamina starts depleting? Maybe. I was going to say, like, is that a light armor thing? That suddenly, you know, we can run way more? I mean, like we were saying, that's one of the bonuses of going light armor is complete less stamina, but for a second there I was going to say, like, are we actually going to be able to just become a marathoner? Never stop running? Looked like it for a second, but okay. Now let's head back. And we'll start looking into talking to some of the people for the main quest. Because like I said, we'll take a quick look actually at our quest here just to confirm. Is there anything else that we need to do? Because these are both DLC. That's the book one that I was saying I don't think we're going to end up finishing this. Like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then so be it. And Witcher contracts, ones that are level 33, 35, it's possible now for us to do this, but I think to a certain extent these were intended to go along with the DLC, like maybe this level 33 one, possible, but nah, I think even now the DLCs are like in and around level 32. I think anything that's listed as mid 30s, yeah, like 33 is maybe questionable, but this is definitely meant to be DLC, right? So, I mean, we could do it now, but let's save it. So, I think that means we're headed straight to the main quest here. Let's just double check what the description here is, because I don't think we've read this one yet. Ciri's spirits were high after killing Ilmarith. I thought it was I-L-M-E-R-I-T. I don't know. So it's actually Imlerith? That's significantly harder to say. But after killing Imlerith, but Geralt knew this fight had been but an appetizer before the full course of battle still to come. As part of their preparations, Geralt and Ciri rode to Novigrad, where Triss and Yennefer were trying to reconvene the Lodge of Sorceresses. Avlok was waiting there as well, and had his own ideas about how to tip the scales of victory in our allies' favor during their final confrontation with Eredin. So, I mean, I hope that we can actually talk to everyone. And, you know, because presumably everyone has their own strategies as to how best to approach the situation. Triss and Yennefer will focus on the Lodge of Sorceresses. Avlok seems to have inside information on the Wild Hunt because someone mentioned in passing that Avlok was part of the Wild Hunt. A lot of questions about that. Also, a lot of questions about how Avlok is doing just after being, after going through the Trial of the Grasses, or at least the first half of it. You know, we were saying, like, it doesn't look like it, or it's going to be awfully difficult for him to survive, and we did talk with him briefly after the Battle of Kaer Morhen. But, you wonder what his current state is. I suppose that's, you know, relatively minor, comparatively speaking, but also helping Ciri, and we don't really know what the deal is with Ciri. She just said she has something to attend to here in Novigrad, but we don't know what. So, my point is, I hope that we can do all these things, and that we don't find ourselves talking to one or two and then suddenly what significant thing happens that prevents you from talking to the other people, and so it looks like it doesn't matter what order we talk to them in, but in truth, it may actually be that, well, you get the chance to talk to the first two, and then the other two, you're gonna miss them, and so whatever opportunity you have with them, it's gone. So maybe, I hope not, but that's one thing. One thing about this game is sometimes it does throw some tricks at you like that, so hopefully that's not the case. So, for that reason, like, do we deliberately prioritize going to the ones that we feel like might be more important first? It's certainly most convenient to talk to Triss and Avlok first, because they're right next to each other, and they're right next to a fast travel spot. Do I think they're the most important? Probably not. I would think Siri and Yen might be the most important, and maybe Avlok, depending on how much you buy into his insights as to, you know, how much information can he really give us to help us out. I mean, probably a lot, to be fair. Let's just head over to Gate of the Hierarch. Okay. Now, there were times when, upon trying to enter the city, we'd get stopped. And after we switched over to largely a Redanian group guarding things, I did wonder if maybe that was going to start to happen here. But it didn't happen this time. Let's talk to Avlok first. Might deliberately avoid Triss and talk to her last, because I think she might be, if we were to try to prioritize based on who we think is the most important, she might be the least important. Sorry, Triss, but you know, you basically have the same objective as Yen, and yet Yen, I don't know, I just feel like Yen would be... No, I'm actually trying to loot this. Not extinguish the fire, but thank you. I just feel like Yen would be more directly trying to recruit Lodge of Sorceress members, because she was one of the leaders. Sort of, kind of. Okay. I don't actually know which room Avlok was supposed to be in. It's supposed to be the best room. Does that mean the top room? I mean, I would think so, like on the top floor. But it's, everything's so close together here that it is quite difficult to see the indicators on the mini-map. Are they pointing us up? Something is pointing us up. Let's actually, yeah, let's deliberately make sure we're highlighting Avlok here. We are. Okay. That one, yeah, that one is definitely pointing us up higher. So let's go up a floor. And yes, you're in here. Okay. And it's probably worth saving, just in case any plot significant stuff does end up happening here. Oh. For a second I thought that cushion was Avlok. Thought it was Avlok with like his hand on his chin, like, deep in thought. Of course, that was not the case. But, you know, we'll also pick up some raspberries, because why wouldn't we? There you are. Okay. Let's just finish looting some of this stuff, and some of it is definitely junk. You're right. You're right, you're right. You're right. Alright. Avlok, what are your thoughts?
Need a hanky? Gotta admit, never expected this of you.
Oh.
You humans have unusual taste.
Somewhat inappropriate drawings that may or may not get blurred, depending on what Lids is thinking when he uploads his video.
You're a sage.
I ask as a courtesy. A concept you clearly forgot when you left without uttering a word.
Siri was in a hurry.
I know, so she wrote in her letter. But that is not my concern. You eliminated Imlereth adeptly. So adeptly, you might say you inspired me.
What? Yeah. That's another thing to note here, is that... Talking about this a while back, but when we first found out that Uma was, Avlok, we had to run off. Oh, sorry. What's up, Rumi? Did not see that there. Got all caught up in looting and whatnot. How's it going? Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. But the thing is, with Avlok, we were talking about how, or at least Garrett was talking about how, when we first brought him, or like decursed him from being Uma, Garrett was like, he is not an ally, he is not a friend, and then ran off. But we didn't really know why until perhaps what he's referring to was later on we learned that he was perhaps at one point in time a member of the Wild Hunt. But as of right now, he's seemingly a friend, but his motives are still unclear. Why exactly he's helping us, Might he have reason to try to deceive us? You know, what... It's all pretty uncertain right now. So, would be helpful for him to, you know, tell us point blank, what exactly are you trying to do here? Why are you assisting us? Should we be concerned? Or can we truthfully trust you? Because we got some big stuff coming up here, and we need to know where our real friends are. Are you on that list, or are you not? So this is a little bit, like, the phrasing is kind of passive-aggressive, so I'm a little bit concerned about how this is going to play out here with the way in which Geralt delivers this. But let's try it.
Skip the guessing games. I'm tired.
That is
The
not
loss
really what
of
I was
one of
going
his
for.
great generals has weakened Eredin significantly. 2 others remain.
How do we get rid of them?
Calanthir, whatever.
Caranthier is a loyalist, but Gels, that
Haven't
is
heard that
another
one.
story. He was a devoted follower of our former king.
See, our former king.
And as it happens, Eredin poisoned our beloved ruler.
Oh. So would Gels betray Eredin? Yeah, lots of questions about this. Oh boy, I would love to ask all these things, but I don't know if we'll have a chance to, or if we'll only be able to ask one of these. Let's see, so I think Gels would betray Eredin. Very relevant question. Who knows this? Also relevant question, because if you're the only person who knows this, then that means we have to convince other people that it's true, and they may not believe us. How do you know it was Eredin? Also, valid question. Are you just completely making this up? In which case, there is little validity to your argument. I think this is perhaps still the most directly relevant one, because this is the objective, perhaps, is to try to get Gels to betray Eredin, and then these are also just like to further reinforce what is the probability of that actually happening. This is the primary thing, though.
Regicide. Serious stuff. Take it not many know about this.
Of the living, only I. And Eredin, of course.
Question is, can you get Gels to believe you?
Exactly.
Nothing you need worry about.
Yeah, but see, I do. Because that's kind of an important detail to just gloss over. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, you know, we're just trying to convince one of the King of the Wild Hunt's strongest and most important leaders to commit regicide. Oh, no, don't worry. I'm just gonna mention it to him, and he's totally gonna do it. Don't need to worry about convincing him. So, think you can make a deal with him? What? How does this play out?
Haven't mentioned killing Gels.
Such drastic means are not always necessary.
So you probably plan to offer him a deal.
Brilliant deduction. Bravo.
Okay. So we can override that and say we'd rather kill him. I mean, this is tricky stuff, because I'd say that's sort of the high risk, high reward approach, potentially, where if we can successfully get the Wild Hunt to turn on themselves, which is what we're basically saying we'd be trying to do, then that would be tremendously helpful. You know, basically any casualties on either side weakens the Wild Hunt. That makes it easier for us. But if we screw it up, then we perhaps further complicate matters, and that could be an issue. So, just going and outright trying to kill him would definitely be the more straightforward approach, but perhaps a missed opportunity there. But I think we ask what you're at least trying to do. Now, this may commit us to going that route down the road. We may not be able to go back and go for the kill route, but I'm thinking I probably would at least like to try this approach.
Fine. So what do you propose?
Why to bring Gels here? Show him the truth of what happened.
Fabulous plan. If we only knew where to find him.
Bring him here, you say?
We do.
Like, by himself?
In the land of the NL.
What? Care to explain further?
Land of the NL?
You don't recall. After all, you did travel with Eredin for some time.
this is true.
The land of the Elder Folk. The world where we arrived centuries ago. A world that is now our home. The Red Riders come from there. And it is there where we will find Gels.
So does that mean that Gels has not been part of the attack thus far? So we saw Imlerith, and we saw Calanthier briefly. We've seen Aridin. That is a little strange to suddenly seek out someone who has not even been involved, at least not up until this stage. Yeah, that's kinda concerning. You know, like, that perhaps suggests what the downside might be if we screw up. Might be we basically attract even more wild hunts. You know, Gels would suddenly start coming over and probably bring some friends. Whereas otherwise they might have not done that. Also, I'm now just noticing that one additional component of the recently upgraded Catskill gear is the turtleneck, which I despise. So, yeah, no, definitely got less stylish this time around, no question. Not quite, you know, giving me enough of the Steve Jobs vibes for Geralt to pull it off. I don't know. Maybe not. But anyways, how exactly would you intend to get to this alternate reality?
Think you're forgetting something?
Alternate plane?
You and Ciri might know how to travel between worlds.
Ah, right.
But me?
Elder
Not
blood
so
and whatnot.
much.
You clearly know there are many other worlds apart from the one where we now stand. They're linked by passages, hidden gateways that afford travel from one world to another.
I think we've seen
Course,
some
Few know of
gateways.
these gateways. Even fewer can locate them.
Elven sages, for example?
For example, one such passage will open soon near where we are, fortuitously enough. Between this noble edifice and the butcher's yard. That's our chance. Shall we go?
See, like, this is the thing. Is kind of like what I was saying before. We probably want to talk with everyone. Because, you know, if we, like, go off into an entirely different world, I would imagine once we get back, things are not just gonna stay put exactly the way they were. You know, time is still gonna pass. I mean, like, I suppose that gets into some serious space-time questions of, well, are we traveling at the speed of light? Does that mean that time is traveling at a different rate for us than it is for everyone else, and therefore time would actually pass very quickly for us, but would pass very slowly for everyone else, so when we come back, very little time would change? Very little time would pass, very little would change, and therefore we'd actually be fine? I don't know. But basically what I'm getting at is, like I was saying before we started this conversation, when we were making our way back to Novigrad, I was suspicious of us potentially only being able to do 1 or 2 or some fraction of the total number of conversations and whatever additional tasks went along with them to prepare for this situation. And after we did those, the other ones might get locked out. We might not be able to do them. And still a little concerned that might be the case here, but not entirely sure. I mean, this does sound pretty darn important. But, well, I mean, it'd be nice to get some infighting, some Wild Hunt members attacking each other, like I said. But, if that means we can't prepare the Lodge of Sorceresses, or we can't have... I mean, again, I don't really know what Ciri was planning to do, but... let's say meet you... Well... Yeah. I don't know. Because... ideally what I would say is we save, then we head over. We do whatever Avlok's thing is, finish it up, and then we get back, we take a look and see, okay, can we still do the other stuff? Or have enough things happen that now we have to go straight into a fight with a Wild Hunt or whatever else, and we can't talk to other people, in which case, then we may have some regrets about going with Avlok rather than Triss or Yen or Ciri. We might at least want to know what they were going to do. Give a general sense, but I suppose, let's say meet you there.
Meet you there. Gotta see to something along the way.
Hurry. I'd rather not loiter in the street any longer than necessary.
don't know if that actually means that it's time. If we wait too long, it's not gonna work. Well, let's see. Yeah, it says through time and space. Which is basically what I was getting at. Okay, so I do like that it now gives us a second or separate quest for that. That, if I'm reading into that, which is totally reading too much into this, but does perhaps suggest that this is now a separate thing, that by doing through time and space, we will not miss out on the other options with Triss, Yennefer, and Ciri. Let's see what this says. News that Ciri and Geralt had defeated and killed Imlerith reached Avallac'h at once. Don't know how this happened exactly, save perhaps that quickly learning of such things is the very essence of being a sage. At any rate, a wild notion possessed him. Unintended? What if they could sway Gels, one of Eredin's most powerful allies? What if they could bring him over to their side? A key general and advisor. Gels was the individual Eredin relied on for reinforcements. Oh. Okay, yeah, remember when I was talking about Gels potentially bringing friends? He has friends. For his plan to work, he would need a dreamer. But Triss pointed him toward... Oh. What? You haven't heard this. That's by the time Geralt and Ciri rode into town. What? Okay, no. Don't read any more of that. Don't read any more of that. Okay, now final preparations is updating. Hold on. Let's see if this is... Is that just giving us the check mark next to Avallac'h, or is that gonna be like X's next to everyone else? Still no X's. But kinda like... Let's save now. Let's try talking to Triss. I do think she's probably, I would say, of all the people we could talk to, perhaps the least important. Sorry, Triss. I mean, I may be wrong with that, of course, but, mostly just want to talk to her to test this out. See what happens if we try to talk to multiple people, before going down any side quests. Now, again, there's a chance that by doing them in this weird order where we're talking to everyone and then we start doing them, then that might bug things out. Like, this is kind of the nature of The Witcher 3. If I'm being honest, probably my biggest issue with the game is just that there are definitely some inconsistent signs as to what you can and cannot do in what order. What's going to lead you to fail things, what's going to lead you to get locked out of things, stuff like that. Can I talk to Triss? Also, where is she actually? I thought she was on that next floor. Yeah, it's saying she's up higher. I think she's in one of these rooms. It's in the next one over. Looks like, just based on location of her marker. Like right where that loot was, basically. We might have just looted through a wall. I think we may have. So yeah, and I'm sure you guys are thinking like, oh, Vids, come on, you're overanalyzing this like crazy. This stuff is important. I don't want to mess this up.
Greetings, Triss.
And I feel like I have to overanalyze it because, again, it's been really inconsistent.
By yourselves? To the Sabbath? How could you put Ciri in danger?
Whoa. We had to do, it went well. I don't know.
Come on, we came out of it fine. Can't say the same for Imlerith.
That's the sole comfort I find in this, but it's no justification. You know what might have happened?
But it didn't. I was there, had the situation under control. Mind if we change the
She is
subject?
rather displeased with us. Okay. Did pass some pyres on the way.
Past burning pyres on the way into town. Non-humans on them.
Things grow worse by the day. No mages left in the city, so the hunters had to find someone else to victimize. We need to resolve everything as quickly as possible and leave Novigrad.
Okay. Any success with the whole summoning members of the lodge thing?
Any success with the lodge? Anyone out there willing to help?
It doesn't look good.
Uh-oh.
Ida outright refused, while Francesca won't budge from her little realm with a war raging. We don't know about Fringilla. Haven't been able to contact her.
You can count Kira out.
Yeah.
I sincerely hope we can contact Philippa and Rita in time.
Where are they? We might be able to help.
Know where they are?
Yennefer's looking into Rita's whereabouts. I have to figure out where Philippa is.
Okay, has Yen gotten to anything?
Know what Yen's found out?
You'll need to ask her. I've been busy trying to find Philippa.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Can't read Yen's mind. Learn anything about Philippa then?
So, learn anything?
A few things that could be interesting. Prefer the long version or the short?
Try me.
Tell me everything. I want the details.
After fleeing Loch Muin, Philippa ended up here in Novigrad. She sought help from her former lover, the sorcerer Arthur de Vlister.
Philippa and a former lover? Something tells me happily ever after is not how that story ends.
Yeah.
Philippa had made a fool of him once. Arthur was out for revenge. He convinced her she'd be safest as an owl. She transformed, and he placed a dimeridium band on her leg.
Oh, that's
the
rough.
mage hunt started shortly afterwards. Sadly, Arthur fell victim. They auctioned off his estate. Just so happened a certain dwarven acquaintance of ours stumbled on the auction.
Oh.
Zoltan. Huh. So Philippa was here under our noses the whole time?
What, the bird that Zoltan
Was,
had?
Precisely. Zoltan lost her in a card game a few days ago.
No. No way. Figures. We will win Philippa back. Thank you very much.
Kidding, right?
Sadly, no. A man showed up here, fleeced Zoltan bare, then proposed they play for the owl. Naturally, he won, then politely thanked Zoltan for the game and left.
Do they have any idea that this is no
Nowhere
ordinary
else.
owl?
He's not from here. No one knows him.
Ah,
Great. You
fantastic.
got any leads?
We have this.
Ah.
That Philippa
Clever.
the owl's feather? Thinking divination?
Specifically hydromancy and a form of sortilege. We need a fountain where we won't be disturbed.
Okay, so it does seem like everyone is going to have their own separate side missions here. Now, as for whether we will be able to do them one after the other, remains to be seen. That's my hope, of course, that we can do all of them. But I think what I'm gonna do here... I mean, we don't really have an option but to do them one at a time, right? There's no way of... It doesn't seem like we're going to be able to resolve anything from just talking. We're, in every case, going to need to go off and do something else. So, it just seems like, of all those things, the most dramatic is probably going to be traveling to an alternate reality and talking to an entirely, an entire group of wild hunts and trying to convince one of their leaders to fight against other members of the Wild Hunt. You know, that's, that one seems pretty high risk. But, I think...
Need to take care of something first. Meet you somewhere later?
Fine. The fountain outside the Passiflora. And hurry, please.
Everyone's trying to say it's urgent. So, blindingly obvious. Okay. So, I think we're gonna take them one at a time, like I said. The question is, do we actually just try to go and do Avallac'h first from start to finish, then do Triss start to finish, or basically do everything start to finish, or do we try talking to people in between first to understand what their stuff is about? Because I think that makes me a little bit nervous. If there's any chance for... I think there's a higher chance for it to bug out if we start these quests and then start finishing them one by one. I think it may be better to, instead of talking to everyone, just go do Avallac'h's quest, finish that, then talk to Triss, then do her quest, then talk to Yen, then do her quest, then talk to Ciri, then do her quest, and so on. It very well may not matter, but this stuff is just, it's getting so important that if we were to lose something or not be able to do something just because the game bugged out on us or just because we did something in the wrong order, I would be very upset with myself. So, you know, not here having played like 250 hours of this game to just mess up one of the most important things because we did something out of order. Like, I would be very mad at myself if that happened. So I think what I'm actually going to do here, I'm actually going to reload a save. Actually going to reload the save that we did right after talking to Avalok, which I think, let's see, we just had this autosave, which looks like it's in Yennefer's room. I think this manual save was immediately after talking to Avalok. Ooh,
Geralt had to face Eredin, but could only hope to beat him with the help of friends. The Wild Hunt could be defeated with exceptionally powerful magic, so Triss and Yen set out to reconvene the Lodge of Sorceresses. Avalok, too, began to lay plans of his own.
Okay. Sure. So, just to confirm here, good now see, yeah, through time and space, but we haven't talked to anyone else yet. I think this is the way to go, just to minimize the probability of us messing around with the game. We tested it out. Like I said, it was mostly in the name of science, talking to Triss there. But one other thing I did notice was that this is level 26, whereas Triss's quest was going to be level 28, which, I mean, for whatever that's worth, does perhaps imply that it is preferred, or maybe the quote-unquote default route to go with Avalok first. So that further comforts me ever so slightly. So let's, you know, just like go to the world of the Wild Hunt, because how could that possibly go wrong? Hey Sultan, nice knowing you, but this might be the last time we ever see you. Alright, bye. Talk to you later. Okay, so where exactly was this? You were saying there's a portal that's gonna open like oh, it's really close. Okay. I don't know if this is just like you, Avalok, yourself, and we're gonna walk and talk for a bit, or there quite literally is a portal that is going to be right in the middle of town. And your map kind of seemed to be implying that that was going to be the case. I was expecting the gate-looking things that I've said on a few occasions look like portals that just haven't been activated yet, but I don't remember seeing any in here, in the city yet.
This house, supposed to drive a godling from here.
Oh, I do remember this house.
Decided it was harmless.
What was that? Just igniting that? Okay. I vaguely remember that we tried going down this door, or we approached it, and then I think someone was commenting like, no, let's don't do that. You're gonna do that way later on. I think this was locked previously. Or is this the same? Is this exactly the same building? The way you're talking to Sarah in? It may be. We did read the description of the quest that did suggest that, yeah, we are going down. That, perhaps we were going to talk to Corinne again? Oh.
The passage is here, past this wall.
Yeah, you don't say. Was this here before? That does look rather dramatic. Okay. Can we chat with you? Yes, I suppose. Ever so slightly. Fair enough. Okay, yeah. Let's also definitely just, you know, like, save every other second.
This is the place. Once we enter, there'll be no returning until we reach Gel's. Ready?
Yes, let's go.
I guess.
Remember, wherever you land, search for a place that looks
Oh,
like
you're not
this
coming with
one.
us.
We shall meet sooner or later.
We're just
Maybe
not
be
necessarily,
separated.
yeah, going
It's
to be there
possible.
together.
I lack your ward's talent. Cyril is the lady of time and space. I merely know how to use this arcane knowledge to a limited degree.
Oh, so you're telling us this now?
It's time.
Thanks. You know, that might have been important information to lead off with.
I hate portals.
Covers his eyes and everything. Yeah, we might be running straight into a bunch of Wild Hunt here. We're also in the bits now, apparently. But prepare yourself for a fight. This also could be a trap. Avlok, is this your way of getting rid of Geralt? I mean, that would be a devious way of just outright eliminating Geralt from the equation. But it seems like we're together. Okay. Desert, mountainous place. Not really what I was expecting. What, we're encumbered? Since when? With what? No, we're not. Liar? Okay, that was weird. For a second there, we had the encumbrance.
Welcome to the Didowet Desert.
There's somewhere in our world.
Ever seen such canyons in your world? Come, we must go.
Okay, I just want to read this real quick. Then we will get back to following you. So, yeah. We were reading this a little bit before, but to reach Avlok and Geralt would need to travel to the land of Von El, a voyage that would involve interdimensional travel. No big deal. Which in turn meant a whole lot of teleporting. Geralt vomited a little in his mouth and prepared to face the music. Alright. So this, I'm thinking, is one of the situations where we probably don't stop the loop or anything like that, because you guys have said time and time again, that's not what we should do in these situations.
A very old world, thoroughly raped and destroyed.
Oh.
Anything
Lovely.
live here?
Mainly desert creatures, able to survive months on end without water.
Big
Oh, and
desert
large
creatures?
sand crabs beneath the surface.
Yeah.
We must
Fantastic.
be careful they don't sense us.
And now
And
they're about to
before,
appear.
were there any people or elves?
Do
I'm
you
curious
believe
what this place looks
humanoids
like.
have a monopoly on destroying worlds?
Oh,
So what did live here? Sentient monsters of
I
some
just
sort?
want to chat this out before we keep on
Look
moving.
at those
Don't want to
cliffs.
interrupt this.
Remind you of anything?
Clips.
Look a bit like the bed of a giant river.
Or the bottom of a sea?
Mean there were
Oh.
water creatures here once?
This used to be underwater.
No creatures. Merely a sea.
Trying to say that
That there are many different worlds and even more forms of life.
I mean, there are
Many of
sea
them
creatures
intelligent, much
in your
more so
world,
in
Geralt.
fact than you humans.
Oh.
But as it turns out, not even that could stop them from exhausting all the resources of their world. To the last drop.
Some things never change. Okay, seems like that conversation is over. Let's. Oh, we can't look at the world map. I was gonna say that was. I was intrigued to see if we could, like, you know, just take a little peek over to the side. 'Cause, like, that looks interesting. I'm very intrigued by this new world and would like to explore it, but at the same time, I think we probably more or less need to stay right next to Avlok. So yeah, we might have a relatively quiet walk now that I deliberately stood still to make sure that we did not interrupt that conversation. But that has happened at times before, so I wanted to make sure that didn't happen this time. Because that was important stuff. Interesting stuff to learn about. But now we can maybe run. No, that's just us going down a hill. That's why. Yeah, not allowing me to run. Maybe that's why the encumbered symbol was showing up for a moment there. It's kind of like the game not allowing us to run, and maybe that's technically hard-coded as we are encumbered right now. It just doesn't show up as the encumbered symbol, or at least isn't supposed to. Yeah. Have to imagine we're gonna run into some of those sand crab things at some point, but also I was expecting a big snowy world. Is why I said I was so surprised by the desert and whatnot. So that's, you know, kind of the Wild Hunts thing, but supposedly, you know, they may have conquered numerous worlds, and this is just one of them. This looks like a significant place. So yeah, this might not be their home, their original
looks
home.
more like a ruin.
Appearances can be
numerous
deceiving.
portals to go
So
through.
what are we waiting for?
For it to open. Shouldn't take but a few moments.
Boom. And then something's gonna come through, it's gonna try to attack us, right?
No reason to tarry. Come.
What's going on?
The sand crabs have sensed our presence.
Right.
Wonderful.
Figured. Alright. Wait until passage opens and also kill the scarabs. Whoa! What the heck is this? There are multiple of them. Of course there are. They actually don't have much HP, somewhat surprisingly. I imagine they've been probably poisoned, though they didn't seem to do that there, although had sort of a green cloud around them, a green little splurp. I don't know what it's called, but when we took them out, which suggests to me that perhaps they do have poison.
The portal open. 3, 2, 1. Very good. On time.
Can we loot them? Oh, what? Hold on. No. Let's just jump in. Don't actually fight the rest of those guys, it doesn't seem. Okay. Where are we now? Totally different place? Yeah, definitely. Doing a lot of time and space traveling. Oh dear.